Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Dr. Gail, and this is Mary. Thanks for joining us today, everybody. And we're going to talk about implants, all sorts of things about implants. Mary and I have been working together for years now with implants. And so we thought we'd talk a little bit about it. But let me see who all's here in the chat while they're coming in. I think we just have a few people here right now. Let me see who's here. Hey, Viviani. Hey, Gina M. Hey, Debbie, Three Shifting Veils. Thanks for being here today. Hey, Tina. Thanks for being here. Anyway, Debbie's saying, ooh, I always forgot to ask if I have an implant or how they see through my eyes. Okay, David. Well, there's also, hey, Faye Cole, there's also the positive implants. We're going to be talking about the negative implants. The positive implants, you want to be there. And Debbie, that's probably what you have that's looking through your eyes. Hey, Kathleen. Hey, Amanda Carroll. Hey, Miss Mims. Hey, Play Love Remember. But positive implants, you want that. It's usually from your soul family. So it's a direct way for them to get information. And it's also a way for them to see what you're doing through your eyes. Hey, White Dragon, thanks for being here. Debbie, that's more than likely what you have is a positive implant because they are looking through your eyes and they're experiencing what you're experiencing. Hey, Teresa, thanks for being here. We're going to be talking about negative implants today because we do want to remove those. And in my experience, the negative implants tend to come from reptilians or Dracos, especially the Dracos that want to keep you in the 3D world and not let you ascend to the next level. And the reason they want to do that is because they're energy vampires. When you are irritated, mad, angry, upset, and you're just life is terrible, that's where they're feeding off that energy. They love that negative energy, and that's keeping you your vibration lower. Now, what we do is it's a long process. Mary and I have been doing this for years. It's a long process on how we get rid of an implant. There's a process with that, and how we keep it away. Because one of the main things when we get rid of it, you need to keep it away. You can't let your vibration dip so they're interested in you again. And I think that's a lot of the part that people don't understand, that it is hard work. It is not easy work. The removing of the implant, we get that out, but it is hard work after that to keep it away, to keep them not interested in you. And so I'm going to talk about my part, and then Mary's going to talk about her part on what she does, because we started off working together with this. I learned how to take out implants on a spaceship, the Ashtar Medical One. I have equipment up there to use. A person, usually the classic person that I'm looking at is somebody who's angry all the time, who is depressed. A lot of people are having suicidal thoughts. Those are the people we're looking at that probably have a negative implant. So when I bring them up, I have a scanner, looks like a piece of X-ray equipment, and it scans for where these implants are. So I immediately already know a person has an implant, but there are some that can hide. And so that's what my scanner does, is to take care of finding the ones that are hiding from me. And then I have special equipment that I pull the implant out. And then after the implant's removed, we have to go through the chakra balancing, the chemistry balancing, the hormone balancing, your energy balance. We have to level everything out. And then we put you in a blue light to let all that soothe and you to relax. The blue light, when everybody sees the blue light, that's like your recovery room. That blue light's on you while your nervous system is relaxing and your implant, your body's getting back to normal. Now, the part is when your body's getting back to normal, it's so easy for you to go out and get into a negative habit again, which got you there in the first place. So I sit down with a person and I talk to them and I make them write down a grateful list. And that's usually in the beginning. I'll go through that with them, write down the grateful list. And if sometimes I'm taking out the implant while they're writing it down. And that's another part that so many people have difficulty in writing out a grateful is because they're so negative. They can't even think that they've got a house. They can't even think that they have a car. They can't even think that they have all these good things. They're only thinking about all the bad things that they have. So when that happens, then they're in the habit of that. If I get rid of the implant, the work is not done. The work is just beginning, because you got to keep your vibration high for them not to be interested in you. If your vibration is higher than what the reptilians wanting to get that energy from, or the Dracos, they're just going to walk on by and look for somebody else they can attach to. Now, whenever I finished all this, it was an immediate requirement for my clients to go to Mary within 48 hours afterwards. And I had them on the grateful list, and I would say, I will be circling around you for the next 48 hours, making sure that the negative entity will not come back again. And Mary will help you work on keeping it away. So Mary, now it's your turn. What do you do?
It's interesting because the negative implants are very similar to negative entity attachments.
Yeah, negative and cords.
Because it's the same reason, the same vibration that draws those things to you. But with the implants specifically, I do see them being more alien in nature. Whereas I don't see that many negative alien attachments like that just stick on you. Like they like to do that implant and then just feed on that energy. So whenever we remove this, and I have a slightly different way to see it. I love that you have a scanner because
I don't need a scanner. The scanner just is the ones that are hidden, because there's so many of them that are still there and that are kind of hidden, and that it's not as big of a problem, but it might cause a problem a little later.
So it's almost like, for me, when I visualize it, I'm seeing this little square chip that's somewhere usually around the pituitary pineal glands, like right up in that third eye space. And so then I know that it's there. So we can remove it. And I actually got Dr. Gail's old work buddy. What was her name?
Her name is Clarice. Clarice was my assistant. And then what's happened is Mary has taken over the whole part, and my assistant has come in to help her, and that I have moved on to different things. And so Mary is now the one that moves the implants and takes on the whole role. She has it all now.
Lucky me. So Clarice, my assistant,
helped her. Yes, Clarice is unbelievable.
She's great. So we remove that at the same angle within which I see it going in and attaching. But then, like, you have this empty space there, right? And that's right there in your thought space. It's in your claircognizant and your clairvoyant space. So immediately I try to refill that space with positive energy, usually through a positive belief system. So initially I might want to implant something as an affirmation, like depending on why you were so negative to begin with. So that requires a whole session of healing work, because we want to go in and see why you were so negative to begin with, why your vibration was so low, what traumas you had, whether you were suffering in your self-esteem areas, or whether we had leakages in our root space because of our childhood. And so these are things that we spend time working through, releasing, healing, and then come to a space where we can implant that positivity. And you might come to a space where you feel very big and seen and bright and vibrant. So we can implant something like I am the sun that goes in there. And that keeps your brain on a subconscious level thinking those positive thoughts, not falling back into the negative patterns. And even for 2 weeks or a month after the session, I give you homework so that you are continuing those positive thoughts, affirmations, habits. Meditations are prescribed. Gratefulness exercises are prescribed. Anything that keeps the vibration high in that way. And this also includes shadow work.
I was getting ready to say, can you go into shadow work, Mary?
Absolutely, I will, because this is a big part of that. We have the healing from traumas and past wounds and stuff like that, but the shadow is where the triggers are. And so you can keep yourself on balanced and on an even keel all day long until something happens to trigger you. And then that's when you're going to fall back into one of these negative spaces. And so what's in your shadow, basically a shadow is something that falls behind you, right? It's something that the sun does not catch. It creates the shadow. The sun or the light represents the things that you know about yourself and can see about yourself. And the shadow represents the things that you have suppressed. So these can sometimes be negative things about yourself that you don't want to look at, but sometimes these are positive things as well. If you don't know your self-worth can be in your shadow. And anything that you think is telling you that you're small or not good enough can be a trigger point for you and can throw you off keel and out of balance. So basically, when working with shadows, we can do this through healing work as well, but it's finding those triggers in the moment while you're having conversations, while you're with people, realizing, and I don't mean like something just irritated you, because people are annoying, let's be honest, but this is like a trigger, like someone said or did something that made me angry, that made me fearful, that, and you can feel it. It almost feels shaky or uncertain or like you've been thrown.
Or sent me to bed.
Oh, you get sent to bed?
No, those kind of things. People are going to go, I want to go into my bed and hide under my covers.
Yeah. So like that's those sorts of triggers. And when you look at those, what we're trying to do is find out why that trigger is there, because it's either that you yourself act that same way. And this is something you need to look at in yourself and heal through and change and balance. Or it could be that you have a trauma around a particular thing and that needs to be healed and let loose. There's a part of you suppressed that needs to be freed and released. And so a lot of your awareness can come through shadow work. A lot of your self-balance and regulation can come through shadow work. Your awarenesses can come through shadow work. And the rest comes through healing work. And you can do healing work on yourself or with other healers. But as Gail said, anyone who's just taking negative entities off of you or removing negative imprints and not giving you the follow-up work or doing the healing work with you actively in that moment and teaching you how to move forward for a little while is, I don't know, what do I want to call them? What do I want to say about them? It's not going to be long-term. It's not going to help you long-term.
Right. They're going to come right back. And as I said, I used to protect people for 48 hours. And I would tell them, you're being protected for 48 hours. And you have to be in the mirror and start doing this work. I also would be making them wear certain colors. And a lot of times it was yellow for, and carry Citron many times because the negative entities, many times I found in the solar plexus and the pineal gland were the two different places that I usually found the most common. But I would have them wearing colors. I would have them saying their grateful list for the 48 hours before they got to marry. So they get so much homework. And so, yeah, whenever you have one removed, and we can remove them, but what good is it going to be if within a week it's going to be back? So it just requires so much work on your part after one has been removed.
That homework for sure. And your self-accountability. And you're the only person who can tell when you're having a negative thought and your thought controls that energy and your frequency. So you have to be the one to actively catch yourself and do that work and try to understand where that negativity is coming from. I will say though, that lately I have seen a lot less negative implants than I do positive implants.
Me too. There's been a big shift.
And so I don't always think that an immature reader may actually be picking up that there's a negative implant.
Well, I made that mistake in the beginning myself, as I thought all implants, they should not be there. I've got to remove them all. And then I found out later there's some positive ones, and that is from your soul family. And that's information you're getting directly from them. And those are good ones to have because they're looking out for you. They're making sure you're okay. And you're getting direct information from them. So you want those implants.
Yes. And I love to place those. I find them really fun. And the implants I have placed that are positive are usually based around joy or knowledge. And the joy ones are so much fun. And I have noticed once or twice before that someone who has a lot of negative energy in their body and in their space, that they have shot through some of these positive implants, and I've had to go through, clean them out, and reinsert as they start to clear their energy field, because it does kind of filter the energy through as they use it appropriately.
So I thought their soul family came back and replaced them immediately. They don't do that. You have to replace them.
Well, the one that I placed, I replaced.
Okay.
Because that one I placed.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it was somebody who was struggling with negativity and depression and stuff like that. But I will say this person also had a lot of negative entities on them. And negative entities can take several sessions. Sometimes it can be off right away. Sometimes it can take a year of working regularly on this stuff, because there's a lot of deep-seated stuff for some people, and everyone's different. But yeah, we just have to work through and start filtering that energy and getting it to move through. That's your personal work.
Yes. So anything else, Mary? Well, what kind of, you said the homework you sent them with, because one of the things I did also was always, they had to do meditation and they had to do their grateful list. And what else was it that you said? Because everybody here might not be able to afford sessions and things like that. And they can do the work. It is really hard, but they can do the work. So what would you suggest to those people?
What I always give to my clients as homework is there's usually some sort of Hertz music, depending on what chakra I want to target. So if it is something that's affecting their self-confidence, that'd be 528 Hertz. That's the solar plexus. I'd have them listen to that while saying their positive affirmation, and remembering any positive imagery that came up during the session. Because me doing hypnotherapy work, I like to regress them into their parasympathetic nervous system to release the stress. And so anything that comes up, we kind of use that to reiterate. But out on your own, you guys can look at those triggers. You can find the negative things, the negative self-talk that's happening, such as I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy, and make it a point right there to release it. You can write it down and burn it, whatever feels appropriate for you. Just make that conscious effort to release it, and then replace it with something bigger, not something like I am good enough. That's not big enough. We want something you can grow into, like what feels really, really good. We used the example of the sun earlier. I am the sun. And so repeat that to yourself over and over again. Listen to some Hertz music that targets that solar plexus space for 15 to 20 minutes a day for a while. Wake up and do those gratefulness exercises. And I really think that that's plenty. You can visualize yourself in the present moment, just being happy, just being seen, just being fulfilled and content. And I know a lot of people like to visualize their future being successful and content, but I want you to visualize being successful and content in the now. And I think that that's more powerful for immediate return.
Yeah, well, I would say, one of my biggest hurdles is always getting people's language to turn around. Like I say, oh, life is terrible. This is happening to me. I can't believe this happened to me. Instead of turning around and going, it's happening to you. What are you learning from it? Or turning that language around is the hardest part, I think, is changing even what they're saying to other people. I think that's hard to change that language.
It is, because it's a habit. Your mind latches onto something and then you keep repeating it to yourself to validate your trigger or how you feel. And then it becomes a habit over the years to keep saying it. And so to retrain, that has to be a habit. And that person has to care just as much about the retraining as they did about staying in their negativity in order for that to work and be rewired.
Okay. Well, here's a big one. Say somebody's going through a big health issue and they're having the hardest time, and it's normally a positive person, they're having the hardest time saying positive. Well, I can't say that, because a lot of times the people who are generally positive tend to find the positive, tend to look at it going, what am I learning from this? So I would say people who may be a little bit more lean negative, or it's easy for them to trigger into the negative on things like that is going on. How do you handle that when it's a health issue and you're trying to turn them around to look at what benefits they're getting from that?
Is this in like a normally negative person or a normally positive person?
I would say, let's say it's somebody on the fence, because a normally positive person is always going to find the good or find the lesson in it. But maybe it's somebody new to it and they don't know how to navigate all these things. They're really just learning about meditation. They're learning about gratefulness and how you can bring yourself over. But all of a sudden they get hit with, just say they get the flu and they're going, they're just sick and feel terrible. And they're just talking about how bad they feel to everybody. And, just kind of that, or, the person who kind of whines all the time. And anyway, how do you handle that?
I still feel like that's the same trigger. I still feel like that. I was going to say, if it's a normally negative person, the illness could have been caused from their negativity.
True.
That's not necessarily always like a lesson besides a wake-up call, like, hey, let's get out of this. Let's do something different. Someone who's on the fence and this starts happening, there's a few different things that I'm looking at. Number one, you're normally on the fence or more positive. So maybe this is a way to show you where a trigger is inside of you, because if they're saying that negative story to everybody who listen or talking about how bad they feel, they could be somebody who feels alone, unsupported, who doesn't feel like they have a community or people to help. And so anyone they talk to, they're what they're saying is, I feel alone. I feel unsupported. I don't know that I can handle this on my own. So this is
nobody loves me. Nobody loves me. Nobody's here. Yeah.
Right. It's the attention. So it's always the trigger thing. Now, on the other side of this, there could be how we think about things, like our perspective, because sometimes when we get sick, our perspective doesn't always have to be, what's the lesson in this? What did I do wrong? What should I be doing differently? Sometimes the lesson is honoring how you feel and letting yourself feel that.
Or you need some rest.
Yeah, let yourself just be sick, girlfriend. Go lay down. It's not going to last forever. There's cycles in everything, and nothing lasts forever. So sometimes it's just about letting yourself be however you need to be.
Well, here's hypnosis. Maybe things aren't falling apart; they are falling into place. And there's a positive person thought, and that's a good example of somebody thinking positively.
Thanks. It's not happening to you; it's happening for you. Yes. Love it.
So thanks. That's a good comment. Okay. All right. Anything else, Mary, to talk about the implants?
I think that, I don't know. I think that's all for right now. Honestly, I feel like something with communications coming up, but this might be coming up for the chat people, because I went ahead and pulled 5 cards, and what the cards are talking about is basically communication with here and the other side, and then 3 negative cards like dream thief and tidy your house and the fallen angel, spiritual narcolepsy. It's like, but we did just come off of Mercury retrograde, which is all about communication. So I bet a lot of you guys got triggered during Mercury retrograde, especially since it happened during Lionsgate portal. So I'm ready for questions.
Okay. Well, I know I didn't get them all started. So everybody, I was talking and listening to Mary at the same time. So I know I missed some questions, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the ones I see right now. Okay. Amanda Carroll, do I have any negative implants? Gotta ask. Well, Amanda, I don't know do you want to go into that? Seeing if they have negative implants? Do you want, I very rarely do that on a show. Only time I usually do that is when one is blatantly in my face and I know that person's miserable and I need to pull it out. But then I tell them to contact me because we have to go through a lot. It's usually the only way I'm usually on shows doing implants, because most of the people here have positive implants, because a lot of people with negative implants can't even stand being in this chat.
I think personally that if they put it out there to ask on the show. I don't mind going into it with you or to assist. I think the big question is, do they have the support afterwards to get the help and healing around that we were talking about?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I very rarely will do it on the show. And then if I do, I probably have only done it like 3 or 4 times the whole time I've been on YouTube, and to tell them immediately get in contact with me right afterwards, because I go ahead and remove it. But it's only when it's really blatant and I can see how bad it is. So Amanda, this probably isn't the show. It's not that easy. We've been explaining on the show that it's not that easy. There's a lot of work that needs to be done if you have negative implants. I know there's a lot of shows that can tell you that, but we're not going to go into that here today. Did I explain that good enough, Mary?
Yes, you explained that there's more to it, and you don't want to just pull something out and then leave her hanging. So, yeah. Is there another outlet? Like, are you doing work right now? Could she email you?
Well, she needs to email you because she's the one that took over that work.
Yes, I did. I'm booked till December though, love. So get on the books soon if you think that that's something that you're worried about, if you're experiencing that negativity, and we can get all of that going.
So Lisa's saying, so that's a yes. No, that is not what we're saying, Lisa, at all. We're just saying we just don't going to deal with implants today. Or I just don't deal with implants unless it's blatantly in my face and I need to deal with it right away. So that's not true. And as I said, most people who have implants now really can't stand being in the higher vibration channel and the information that's coming at you. They're usually maybe come in for a few minutes and run away. So that's all I'm going to say right now about that. Okay. All right, here's the next one. Play, love, remember, may I have a body scan? Okay. All right. So I'm going to filter these questions before I pull them up here. So again, we are not scanning for implants because there's too much involved and for us just taking out a negative implant here. And there's a lot of psychological issues that go with it too.
And if we scan for a positive implant, then we could find a negative one instead, and then we'd have to tell you there's a negative one, and then we're back in the same place, right, Gail?
Okay, so the next one. Okay, I'm going to look for a question that is not about do I have an implant? Okay.
You can ask other questions about implants if you want, but if you do really feel like you have one, just reach out to one of us and you can set up an appointment.
Okay, well, here finally one. I bet I just went through 5 questions. They're all, do I have an implant?
Well, that's what we were talking about, right? So they probably wanted to interact and engage with that.
And that's okay. And I know other channels, they go ahead and remove the implants right away on the channel. We just don't do that here. It's because there's just so much more involved in it. And we are thinking of you. It's not that we don't want to do it. It's that we don't want to take it out and all of a sudden next week you got it back again. There's so much more work that needs to go into it to keep it away. Okay, hypnoticity. My forehead hurts like pressure. Is my third eye activating again? Let's see. I'm going to go, yeah, because I can see it bulging. Hypnoticity. Woohoo! Wow. It looks like it is throbbing out there. So that would be a yes. And they're telling me, they said, bear with us for 2 weeks. Hypnoticity, bear with them for 2 weeks. What are you getting, Mary?
I wanted to make a joke about a unicorn, but that could have been offensive, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's because it's bulging out there.
But what came to me is that your third eye is always active, especially you. On normal people, it's the chakra, so it's always, processing energy. But for you, it is also the clairvoyant part is always active and open. What it feels like is happening is a level up expansion. So yes, it is technically another activation, but it's like but it was already here. So that's what I had to say about that. And I do also kind of pick up 2 weeks-ish.
Yeah. Okay. Gina has a really good question here. Why don't we remember the implantation, either positive or negative? Regina, we don't remember a lot of these things. So you don't remember your interaction with the ETs or the things that happen that allow you to have attachments. And I think, I don't know what would happen if we did remember all that. We would go into fear, scared. I don't know, but it is your family that's doing the positive ones. But well, they're in a different dimension also when they're putting these implants in, so we can't see them. Will you have a better answer for me, Mary? For her?
Not a better answer, another answer to add on. I also started feeling that, like with a negative implant, we wouldn't necessarily know it was happening because we're not paying attention. We're in a low vibrating state. We're negative all the time. And so when something comes up, it's trying to steal that energy, right? So it's probably being sneaky and trying to sneak around us to do that. So it would happen behind our back. Whereas a positive implant would probably happen when we're with that soul family. And that's at a completely different vibration. So by the time we come to Earth, that memory isn't always there. It's just like when a psychic or a medium channels something, but then they don't remember what they channeled afterwards because they were in touch with a higher vibration. And then by the time they came back to this vibration, the connection's lost. We don't really remember everything there. So that felt like something similar for a positive implant.
Okay, there you go, Gina. So I'm starting at the bottom because every other question on the top was, do I have an implant? Let's see. Oh,
there was somebody who asked if the Solaris Healing Center was a more appropriate place to ask about the implant, so they didn't have to wait for an appointment.
Well, I don't know how to say this again correctly. It's just that I don't go in and remove it. I find myself, it would be irresponsible for me to go and remove an implant without you having follow-up things to do, without you having follow-up. So anytime I removed an implant, person had to agree to be in with Mary within 2 days, 48 hours, because that's the only amount of time I was going to protect them from the negative entity to come back. And so yes, for the Solaris healing, I can figure, and I can do it here. I can tell you if you have one or not. But I think it's irresponsible unless there is a way to make sure you keep it away. And that keeping it away is a lot of homework on your part that you have to learn how to do.
So what I'll suggest then, since you don't have to wait the 2 days, since Gail's not really even doing them anymore, that has kind of passed on this way. If you don't want to wait till December when I have an opening for that, just email. I'm at earthandstarwellness@gmail.com, and I do have a support system of amazing healers who could probably get you in sooner than that. So if you email, we can get you where you need to go. Lauren.
Okay. Sorry, Lauren. There we go. All right. Let's see if I can find.
What did it say?
What'd you say?
We didn't answer Lauren's.
Oh, we didn't. Oh, shoot.
No, she needs us.
What was her question? Okay, let me look, see if, here she is. I recently lost a family member. Okay, I have recently lost a family member, and I think he touched my shoulder a few nights ago. Was that him? Oh, how sweet. Yes, that was him. Oh my gosh, how sweet. Yeah, I'm getting a big yes, confirmation on that. That was a definite yes. What are you getting, Mary? And it was a sweet touch.
I'm trying to decipher a message right now because I feel so much and hear so much coming in, but it's so muffled and rounded. So he's so recently passed that, but not recent enough to where it's like talking right here, just recent enough to where it sounds like things are like when someone talks underwater. But I feel this huge amount of emotion coming towards you. So from that emotion, what I'm deciphering is all is well. He's good. And he's just here to try to comfort a little bit because there's a lot of heavy emotion on this side. I'm feeling a lot of heartbreak and heaviness here. And so he's trying to comfort and show up that he's keeping his word and he's watching over and keeping his appointments with you guys, you and your family.
Okay. Lauren, this is what I'm getting. Slow down. I don't know what you're doing, but slow down. And that's what the touch of the shoulder was about. They're there. They want you to slow down. I don't know if you're moving through everything too quickly without feeling your feelings. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but he's wanting you to slow down. It's almost like you're throwing yourself into a lot of things not to deal with the emotional part of it. Is what I'm getting. Anything else, Mary?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. What's this, Leah? Dr. Gail and Mary, is this COVID just me being sick or more? I rarely get sick. You want to know if you have a COVID? COVID, is that what you're saying, Leah? Is this COVID? That's me being sick. Okay. I don't think it's COVID. Let me see. No,
it does feel kind of lung related, but not necessarily COVID.
It's not COVID, but it's a virus, but it's not COVID, Leah. So yeah, but you're going to be miserable with it. Sorry.
This is a good one for the Solaris Healing Center.
That is a good one, but you are going to be miserable, and I'm so sorry. It's going to linger. They're here. I'm hearing it's going to take a month to get over this, Leah. So take care of yourself. Yeah, that was a really good one for the Solaris Healing Center.
Mullein, the herb, is a very good herb to help with the lungs. If that's something you're interested in, Mullein.
Mullin or IEN?
I typed it, so I just put it in the chat. It's a really good herb to use as a tea or a tincture. Take it twice daily, and it'll start over time. Of course, every herb maxes at 6 weeks, absolute max, but you can start having immediate effects after a couple of days. But do it consistently, and it'll give you a whole new lungs, a regeneration in time.
And a lot of times when we're going through those viruses like that, Leah, it's a regeneration of your whole mucus system. And we have to go through that every few years. It's almost like a snake shedding its skin, that you have to shed all your mucous membrane from the new to come out. And that's very likely what's going on with you, Leah, but it's painful in the meantime. Okay, here's Chris. Wee hours of 8/8, I had a vivid dream of nurses type people injecting someone a long tube into my neck, then told me to rest. Was that a weird dream or ET encounter? That was the ET encounter, and I can tell you that was going into your pineal gland, and I'm getting a big yes on that. And it was a positive implant, Chris. So, but go ahead, Mary.
I got to ask a question. So you go ahead and finish channeling for Miss Chris here, because I've got an actual question.
Okay. Well, that's all I need to tell her. I think, yes, it was an ET encounter. It was her star family, and it was a positive implant, so she doesn't have to worry about it. Just go, yay, thank you very much. I'm going to get my information directly from you. Thank you, star family. Okay, go ahead.
Why, for the love of all things holy, in all TV shows and now in the Aliens, when they go to implant something or like give an injection, why do they do it in the side of the neck? That's like the cringiest thing ever, number one. Number two, I find it unrealistic. I've never been to the doctor where they gave me a shot in my neck hole, you know? Tell me.
Let me see. I'm thinking they're going directly into the carotid. Let me say, are they going directly into the carotid? Yeah, that's straight to your bloodstream, into the carotid, right there in your neck. But I've never even thought about that, because so many times we're going in the back of the neck, and that is going to the pineal gland. But yeah, it's going into the carotid. It's instant. Like if you're going in the muscles and things, it takes longer, but going in that carotid is instant.
I never even thought of that. So you felt like this imagery was the tube going into the back of the neck.
That was the image I got. So I don't know, Chris, was it the side of your neck or the back of your neck?
Personal story. The first time that I met with the council, before I knew what the council was,
Yeah.
they put something like ice in the back of my neck.
Yeah.
Broke it off in there. And I couldn't for the life of me ever figure out what that was or what that meant.
That's directly to your pineal gland. And you go in like this to get to it. And in the back, that section between your skull and your spine where it starts, that's your direct access to the pineal gland.
Why was it ice?
Well, that's just what they used probably. Or to you, it was ice. It was actually, I bet it was a crystal. I bet it was a crystal. Was it a crystal? Yeah, it was a crystal. It wasn't ice. Your perception was it was ice, but it was a crystal.
Yeah, it was like whitish blue.
Yeah, it's a crystal.
Okay, now I feel all my guys just giggling, like, we've kept this from you for 10 years and you never knew. All right. Thanks, Chris, for evoking that question.
It was the side of her neck, so they went to her carotid. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Okay. Here's a good one. Lisa, why did I have a dream where I got attacked by a spider after accidentally tripping its web? Oh, wow. I don't know. Let me think what this is all about, because it's important. And because I'm getting this, yes, my mind's going in the right direction. I think you were on the planet with the spiders. I'm getting a big yes on this. I wonder what planet that is. You're on a planet with the spiders, and you were there to destroy them. Wow. It's going to take a lot more to get into this, Lisa, than just what we can do here on YouTube. But you were on a different planet, and apparently you were on the attack and you didn't accidentally trip into, well, you might have accidentally tripped into like a landmine, but you were in search of these spider webs or these spiders on this planet. I've heard, but these look like smaller ones, but I've heard that is one of the hardest ones to get rid of. Those giant spiders are really hard to, they're like the fiercest warriors out there.
I had a message come through.
Oh, what is that? Lisa, I don't want to scare you. I'm sorry, Lisa, but that's what I got.
Debbie said she does not want to be on a spider planet. Same, bro. Same. Yeah. But I did get a positive message coming through, because it feels like it could just be like the lesson or the parallel thing coming through behind your experience on that planet. It feels like at first in life, if we were to take this as if it were a parable or something you could apply to your life, there may have been times when you felt attacked for accidents or things like that. But what I'm seeing is that now your energy is so here in those higher realms that it's like giving you a completely different perspective. If we think of a spider web, it is the web of the universe, the web of existence that comes from our heart space. And I often see Archangel Melchizedek as a spider, because this is the archangel that moves through the dream weave and weaves everyone together. So it's like, I think something about this, whatever you were actually there for and having that experience for, I don't know, that's Gail's that's Gail's information, because I don't know nothing about spider planets. But I know, like, on the shadow,
I don't either, but here's White Dragon saying spiders are one vector they use for negative implants.
So make sure we stick with your positive affirmations, keeping your vibe high. But then moving forward with all of this, think about how you can be getting positive things from the angels and from the dreamweave, and through keeping your heart open and connected and connecting with others in that positive way.
Well, actually, I'm getting that she was protecting all of us. That she was protection. She was protecting us. She was protecting people on Earth.
That was so sweet.
So thank you. Thank you for doing that. I'm glad you're the ones taking on the spiders. I don't know how many people want to take on the spiders.
She's a brave lady.
Yeah, she is a brave lady. But I think that's her specialty, something that she knows a lot about.
Mm.
So Amanda's saying also, she says, I've heard that too mentioned in a book, channel novel, about the Orion Wars, the Spider Forces. Yeah, I don't know much about them, don't want, well, shouldn't say I don't want to, but I just know that's a really tough thing to come up against. Okay, what is this droid dragon? And I found some big ones at a prominent Miami Catholic church, got rid of them. Okay. Lisa, I don't think, Lisa, you had a bite. You were defending all of us. You were fending them off. You were taking care of it. It looks like to me you might even be stronger than they are. And whereas so many people aren't, you were taking care of us, which we have to thank you for that. Okay.
I like this. We should turn this into some sort of saga.
Some kind of what?
Wars.
What was that again?
We should turn it into a saga. You know, like a journey. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back and see what I have starred and see if I can find any of them that doesn't have, do I have an implant? and there's so many people that do that so y'all can go to their channel and get that, but just be sure you do the work afterwards.
I don't refer people out like she does.
Oh, you don't ever?
I have my group of healers. I don't I don't recommend other people's channels who are doing things we're just talking about not doing.
Well, I mean, if they're this insistent that they have to have something like that done, because I know some people really gotten in the habit of that, probably, of having that access. But here's Patricia. I recently had a mantis being behind me with claw-like hands on my shoulders during meditation, said to me, call me Charlie. Oh gosh, Patricia, I always love to see a mantis being show up. At first, it kind of freaked me out, but when a mantis being shows up, that means your life is getting ready to change. Mm-hmm. That you are, and they're usually like the messenger of that change. And the other way I see them like that, how you're talking about on your shoulder, to me, something big's going to change your life. So you're getting new gifts, just something's changing. But if I see the mantis being accompanied by two grays, that means you're going up for a healing. But you're coming into something big now. Mary, what you got?
That was my first thought, was that has, like, it was like seeing her entire insides being swept through, all the cobwebs removed, everything completely cleaned, dusted, glossy, shiny. So that complete change. And I was trying to muscle test to see where the change would take place. And every time I hit on like anything having to do with external or 3D stuff, like homes, jobs, things like that, like I would get like fear or negative or anxiety feelings. So that definitely wasn't it. I think it's very internal, very spiritual.
It's spiritual. Yeah, very spiritual. And
yeah.
I can say the first time, first time a mantis being showed up for me with the message. I had seen them before, but he came into my car and he was the one that told me I was going on rescue missions. And I thought, oh, I'm going to be trained for a couple of years before I go on rescue missions. And then right then when I said, okay, yeah, I'll do that, I was shot off to already start doing the rescue missions. So it's something big like that, Patricia, something big. Okay. Edward's telling me to read Warrior Widow's question. Okay. I hope I can find it. Can you tell me at what time that is, Edward? What time that question came in? Or Warrior Widow, can you put your question back in? Because there's a lot of ones that I starred that I just quit. I skipped because all of them were asking if they had implants. I just skipped over those questions and went to asking that. You don't see the time, Edward?
There's one by Warrior Widow that says, can you check my ears? They've been ringing for months and I'm starting to get worried. I don't know if that's the question that they're referring to, but that is a question.
Thank you, Warrior Widow. I get excited when my ears ring, Warrior Widow, because that means information for me is coming in. And at first I worried about it, but then I realized that's the information coming in. And it used to be when I was going on missions, my both ears would crank up that I was getting ready to go. But let me check to see if that's what's going on with you. Are you just getting information? Yes, that's what's going on. You're getting information coming in. Don't worry about your ears ringing. That's, I would say at least 50% of us in here have that happening to us, that we are getting ringing in the ears when we're getting, yeah, it feels like you're getting downloads. That's exactly what's going on. That I would say at least 50% of us in here, that's how we get our information, or we know that we're getting our information. At first it worried me like it's worrying you. Now I'm like, oh, good. I wonder what I'm getting ready to learn now. I wonder what's getting ready to happen. Mary, you're getting ready to say something. What?
How can you just read me like that, bro?
What?
My add-on to this is to do something after that happens that can capture that. So like if you paint or draw or do automatic anything, or even just like anything you can create or put together, it feels like that helps it move through your channel more appropriately and go out into the physical realm. Even if you don't know what the download is, like logically in words, it's putting it out into the physical and not storing inside of your body. Because if it's too stored in there, we don't want it to like start breaking down or weakening your channel. Like we're supposed to receive the information, bring it forth, and then put it into action. So bring it into the 3D. I don't know if you paint, play music, draw.
Well, the thing is I have to up my grounding. That's the big thing. It's to ground, go out and ground. And if it's too much, you can tell them to turn it down, and they will. So ground, that would be kind of grounding with the painting and all those kind of things. Doing all that stuff would be part of it. That'd be more fun than going out and laying in the grass.
Well, those are things that are very abstract, so they can become ceremonial and hold those vibrations of the message.
Okay. Let's see what else I've missed here. Anything else, anybody that I missed that I need to look at? Okay, I am going to look at here at the bottom. Here, what have I got here at the bottom? Looks like it's Amanda Carroll. Have we already done one for her?
I think in the beginning, but I don't super remember.
Okay. Amanda, have we already done one question for you already? Okay, I'm going to pull up here. Play, love, remember. Oh crap, because I saw 3 huge mantis, 3 of each side on the aisle I was going through. They were gold and gigantic, and Danny Shea Shamanic Journey. They were the first I saw. And there you go. They're extremely smart. Play, love, remember. You want them around. They're good to have around. And for me especially, because it's only 2 things that's going to happen. My life is getting ready to change. I'm getting ready to do something big. And the next thing is, or I'm going in for healing when they show up with 2 grays. Okay.
Can we answer this one by Bemused Shaman? Because it feels like it might be fun.
Which is what? Okay. Where is it?
It's at 439.
Is that 39?
439.
Okay. I got a ways to go. You can start reading it because I've got to go ways to go here to get it. Okay, there it is. Okay. Hi, all. Last night I laughed in my sleep and woke up my husband. Lots of parties going on out there. What's happening? Oh, you're in a party on a spaceship. Yay, yay, yay. White Dragon puts on parties all the time on the spaceship. Okay, let's see. Were you in a party?
Am I invited to these parties?
Ask White Dragon. Yes, well, you're on the Astromedical 1. He's actually on the Athena. And on the Astromedical 1, there is a special room that is for gray hybrids and humans. And we always had all sorts of good stuff there. But he puts on parties on the Athena. Now, the Athena is huge. It has, I can't tell you how many people are on there, but there is one room when I walk by that I will not enter because they're partying so hard. It's almost like Vegas. I'm not seeing, as long as it doesn't spill out into the hallway, I'm not going to say anything. Just y'all do your own thing. Yes. But he puts on parties. He puts on parties there. Ask him if he'll invite you over to the Athena for a party.
He said the invite's already on the way.
I don't see him in here saying that. Oh, let's see. What's Debbie saying? I hope all the clicking is their way of making me smarter. Yes, that's their communication, is the clicking. That is a very definite indication of a praying mantis being around, is hearing the clicking. Okay. Mary, we usually dance to disco, roller skate, or do line dancing with the Grays. You're invited.
I love to roller skate. I was a Sonic girl all through my teenage years.
There you go. And Warrior Widow says, I went up a couple of months ago and they were all partying in the spaceships. Yes, they do party. They have a good time. And as I said, there was a special room in the on the Astro Medical One that was for just the great. Well, I don't think it was just for them, but that's all that went in there, because I don't know if people needed breaks and things like that, like humans and the hybrids, but we had a good time in there.
Can I back up for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Debbie, all the clicking is that the mantis clicking?
Yeah, mantis click. That's how they talk.
Oh, stop it. That gave me chills down my spine. I don't know. Like, if it's a gift, sure, I'd love to hear clicking one day, but it just feels like a neurodivergent person would not like it.
It is a little unnerving when you first hear it. Then when you realize what it is, you're okay with it.
Okay.
All right. I think that's going to be it for today. Thanks, everybody, for being here. And thanks, Mary. What's your next show?
My next show is Sunday, as per usual. Every Sunday we have our videos coming out, and then the last Friday of every month we have our healing temple. So this month that's August 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern, and our next lab group, that's our emotional support group, is September 7th at noon Eastern time.
There we go. And my next show will be on Saturday with Terry, and I think that'll be it for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, moderators, for making this a safe place. Thanks for the great questions, everybody. And we will see y'all later. All right. Bye-bye.